Alright, thanks. You? Good. Thanks. Back again, more punishment.
Progress! Progress!
Sorry? Across here now if you would. Back to me.
No, Ali just kept the side profile.
Once more. Once more, gentlemen, that's fine.
Okay, right, do you want to get the youngsters sitting down?
So in 100 years' time, do you think Torquay United will still be here?
Yes, definitely. I can't see the club, any club, but what division or where we'll be, I couldn't predict. But there will be football in Torquay, so long as different type of football, I expect, but there will be football.
So we can have the celebrities back in the dressing room, and of course we will be introducing all the players and all the celebrities to you on the pitch very, very shortly. Number 6, give a big cheer. It's Will. And wearing the number 8 shirt, unfortunately he couldn't land on the pitch, but he's here for us now. It's Chris Evans.
I think this year, with the transfer deals that we've done and the money the club's received, I think would be on a very stable financial base, which stands the club instead for good in the future. So it's nice from that point of view. Obviously, at the moment, we're trying to build a side here, me and Alex, to not only get out of this league, but to have a side that's capable of holding their own in the second division, and that's basically what we're building and what we're looking for.
Next up, 16 weeks of all is first of all, Lincoln City, number 1, John Vaughan.
What would you say to supporters about Torquay as we come into the new millennium? How are Torquay going to fare in the future?
I think probably not a lot differently to how we fared in the past. I think it's always going to be a struggle because we don't get the level of support that we need. The supporters we've got are excellent supporters, but we need to double the amount.
In the millennium, well, I don't know. Well, it can only get better really, because at the moment we just aren't getting anywhere. We have to get a confident player that's good in the feet and can really steer us clear, because at the moment I can't see us getting anywhere.
they're going to do all right. I think, yeah, they seem to be financially sound and on a solid base, and I think they're going to, yeah, they're doing the right things as far as I can see.
I mean, I think the height of our ambition for the next few years is to remain in the Football League, and it's all very well talking about promotion and that. We'll obviously go for promotion where possible, but I'm not going to risk the financial future of the club just for maybe one season in the second division. I think financial stability is the be-all and end-all.
I think we're established, really. Obviously the financial side is very sound, and I can't see no problem with Torquay United. They'll, my own personal belief is that they'll be in the second division next season. Or not next season, the season after. Let's put it like that.
On match days, I'm up here as this morning at about 7:30, 8:15, as it is at the moment, because it doesn't get light till then. I just go around and check everything in the complete stadium to make sure everything is all right. Obviously, the goal mass, nets, and what have you. Put up the tapes ready for the game and the goal mass itself. Put the corner flags in, and obviously touch up the lines where if it needs doing. Check the dressing rooms, obviously. And then when that's finished, I will go home, have a shower, get changed and return to the club more or less straight away. My duties then carry on right through the day until such times as the game is finished. I basically seeing to the ref, talking to the referee and obviously the officials of the club. If there's anything that needs doing from the chairman or what have you, if there's a problem, then obviously I'm here for the maintenance side of it as well. Obviously the lights are my responsibility, turn on the lights and turn them off at the end of the game. Really basically once everybody has vacated the stadium after the game, i.e. players and their supporters, then all the side lights are taken off, the press box is emptied, and that's the end of my day. So basically we're talking from about 7:30, 7:45, roughly till about half 5, 5:45, 6 o'clock on a Saturday. And by the time then, about 6:30, I can get myself upstairs for a drink.
When the actual match starts, basically, our first job then is to count up all the 50-50 tickets. That is the main thing. We're doing that first of all. Once we've got the total number, then we divide it in half. Half of the money goes to the punter, half goes to the club. That takes us roughly up to about 10 minutes before kickoff, before half time. Then we get a little 10-minute break just to sit down and watch the match for a little while. Half time comes, we're on the pitch, we do the 50-50 draw.
One.
Next one on the right is the Sponsors Lounge. Again, it holds 20 people. And they've got 20 green seats outside to watch the game with. This is what we use, the restaurant. We've got match ball sponsors on the first table of 4. And we've got 9 in from Bradford's at Exeter. And the Townswomen's Guild on the far table.
Depends. Some days we can be up to 60, and other days down to about 22, 23 or something. So it's just chicken today, so it's an easy one.
At number 12 it's O'Neill Donaldson, and number 13 Leon Hapgood, and number 14 Mark Jeremy. Well, this is my 30th year.
What do you think is the best season you've seen?
Oh, I think one of the best seasons was last season, of course, but the one that we got promotion, we went from the third into the second division. It was a wonderful season. It was rather unexpected as well, but it was tremendous. Really enjoyed it.
First of all, make sure we've got enough stewards to actually open. That's the first job. And sit the stewards down, give them a briefing, let them know how many away fans are expected, any special jobs we're expecting them to do on the day. Then they're sent around, I dish out the keys that they need, they pick up the radios, go off to the different points. I come up here, I make sure the computer's set up and that the camera and that's working. Then we usually have a visit from Frank Prince and whatever schools are visiting us at the particular game, and we give them a little talk and let them know what we do. And then my role then is just to sit up here, answer the radio and make sure that everything's running tickety-boo and that the stewards are doing what they should do. End of the game, we go down, debrief the stewards, get any information from them on any problems we've had, which I then pass on to the club during the week. This is our monitor for our camera system. With this we can see about 95% of the ground. What you see on the camera is videoed, and we can also take still photographs from it. Again, very important piece of kit, and we can use it for evidence in court cases should we need it.
The next piece of equipment we've got is the microphone here. It's linked to all the loudspeakers all around the ground. You met Pete Wiley earlier, didn't you, down the other end? He's the one that does all the records and all the exciting stuff like that. We would only use this in the event of an emergency if we had to evacuate a section of the ground. The only reason we'd need to evacuate a section of the ground was probably due to something like fire, in which case up in the corner there we've got the red, amber and green lights which tell us if there was a fire which section of the ground it was in. Basically all that happens is one of the lights would start flashing and a little siren would go off, and we would then order an evacuation and call the fire brigade.
Well, the children usually arrive around about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It can be anything up to 3 schools, 3 local primary schools, schools throughout South Devon. There were 2 of the dressing rooms. I'll look around the ground, meet the players, have a look in the club shop, and they come and watch the game. What sort of questions they ask you when you're around? Some interesting ones, some not so interesting, but yeah, it's quite surprising what sort of question they come out with. Obviously football related, some quite not, but we do our best to answer them, and if I'm struggling I pass on to one of the stewards or whoever's nearest to try and get me out of a sticky spot really. The dressing rooms I think, because the players are there and they can get some autographs and they can see all the kit laid out and that, and meet their heroes, and it's really good, and Wes is brilliant. I mean he encourages the kids to come in, and the players are very good as well. You're nervous?
I am.
In the early days we used to do it for all the hospitals as well. The best season, I haven't had any recently. Well, I suppose when we one year when we nearly got into the 2nd division, and we went up to Southampton. We had to win up there and we lost. It was Southampton and Crystal Palace, I think, in those days. Going back many years, that is.
You're always going to get your loyal supporters that come in and week out, and when you reach the likes of Wembley finals and being successful, you've got to be, grateful to them. You've got to be pleased for them, really. There is a love-hate relationship. I think some of them have a bad week with the wife and come and vent their frustrations on the players, but I think a lot of them tend to forget that Torquay United are always fielding young sides, and what they see on the telly with the David Beckhams and Ryan Giggs and the Zolas not necessarily happens when they come and watch Division 3 football.
Well, just buy some half-decent players. I mean, instead of buying a lot of rubbish. There's no ambition, that's the problem in this club.
Every club's got supporters like that, or people who say that all the time, but on a realistic note, the club's got to survive, and you can't just like splash money out willy-nilly. You've got to balance the books at the end of the day, and like a Bournemouth not so long back, clubs have nearly gone to the wall because of that type of attitude where the financial side hasn't been right. But if we get the financial side right and build a decent side, and as Wes says, get a good run, get into the next division, well, you might get a roll-on effect, but it has got to be financially sound. You can't go splashing out money what we haven't got.
I mean, considering how well we did last season, to be where we are now is very disappointing. You know, just maybe a little bit of ambition at the beginning of the season, kept the Hodges and the rest of the players that we've sold off. If we'd have kept them and maybe got a few more in, we might have been up there. We're instead of languishing near the bottom.
Well, that's not strictly true. I mean, only this week, Tony Beddoe wasn't sold to Sheffield Wednesday for £50,000 because we didn't feel we could afford to lose him at this stage. So it's not altogether true. We don't sell players willy-nilly, but there are certain circumstances around each individual deal.
Fans aren't very happy. It's all right selling all your players, but you've got to replace them. You know what I mean? Nobody's expecting them to spend hundreds of thousands of pounds, but you can buy someone half decent, can't you? They've had enough money in, so, you know, but...
I mean, the club will always offer good players decent contracts. And if a player's not prepared to sign that contract, the club's only got a limit as far as it's prepared to go financially to offer somebody so much money. And if that player's not prepared to do it, you know, there's not a lot you can do about it.
Well, that's, you know, it's all right coming out with excuses and saying players want too much money and what have you. And all right saying, oh, we don't need to sell and there's money there, but when's this money going to be spent? Yeah, it's all right saying money's there, but there's never any evidence of it being spent. Yeah.
Clubs like Torquay, they just rely on now if they get a decent player. Obviously, they're not going to keep him. So Torquay are always going to be in that third division because as soon as they get something good, they're on their way. And this is why I feel like people like Rodney Jack and with the team we had last year, Gibbs and all that, I thought that was our best chance since 19.
What would you say to some of the supporters that doubt that Torquay can keep players like Avian Williams after he's made such a good start?
When no club can keep players. A player is a free agent, especially it's more now with the Bosman ruling. If he's over the age of 24, he can go anyway, and you can't stop him when his contract's out. But you don't want to keep players. I mean, you want to keep moving the players. That's how the club will exist. And what you want is what we've had this year. You want somebody capable as a manager to bring in players at a reasonable figure that you know you're going to sell on to get a lot more money. And also, that's the YTS. I mean, it's a fine thing to have in a club, the YTS, the youth program, because look at the players that's come through already, and they've made good and brought the club money. I mean, your last one is sticking out a mile is Matthew Gregg. Great. This is how the club goes. This is how the club can afford to be solvent at the moment. I mean, we're not getting the gates for the crowd to keep the club going. I think approximately you need to find between $250,000 to $300,000 a year before you even start making anything like a profit. And that's not from the money you get from the league or anywhere, that's money you've got to find. And that's why you need sponsorships and everything else. And that's what keeps the club going.
Funny enough, I don't think it's a love-hate relationship. I think they can't get the club out of the system, most of the supporters. They get frustrated with them. It's like any kind of commitment you make. From time to time you're bound to fall out and you annoy each other and all that sort of thing. I think the vast majority of supporters who have been supporting this club for any length of time know perfectly well that a small town club like Torquay have got to sell players from time to time. One factor that a lot of people forget is that if a young player looks like making the grade, and another bigger club, and in some cases Torquay have sold players to quite big clubs, very big clubs, how on earth do you turn round to Lee Sharp, you know, and say, sorry, we're not selling you to Manchester United because we want to keep you here? It's impossible. You can't do it. And people forget that. So I think the vast majority of fans, they know what the situation is. They understand that Torquay have got to sell for one reason or another, either from the player wants to get on and improve himself, or the club needs the money. Because the gate receipts certainly don't pay the bills, as everybody knows. And although there may be frustrations at the time, and they're angry, and there's, you know, oh, they didn't get enough money for him, or they should have hung on to him, etc. I think in their calmer moments, most of the supporters understand that it's part of life, and you enjoy the players while they're here, you know, and live to fight another day, and come back and support them when you've calmed down after a few weeks, and because it's in your system.
Right, well this is Wayne Thomas on the table, who's had a bit of a problem with, we thought, his Achilles tendon. He's, I say broken down, a couple of times he's tried to come back and it's become swollen again. He's had an MRI scan on it, which shows that the tendon is okay, but the soft tissues behind the tendon, there's some inflammation. So what I'm doing here, treating him with the ultrasound machine, is trying to break down and work on the thickening behind the tendon so that we can get him actually back training again. Meanwhile, while he's having treatment, he's swimming and cycling.
It's a nightmare, especially like with the lads and that starting the season now. It's always a bit of a get to miss out on the opening games of the season, and that, because that's basically what the whole of pre-season is about, to get built up for that one game. But
putting up with me on a day-to-day basis,
yeah, that's a bit of a nightmare as well. But all in all, I'm just dying to get back, really, dying to get back and start playing again.
What's the ultrasound actually do then to the?
It bombards the tissues with like a sound wave, which helps to increase the circulation, and also at the same time, if you've got thickening or adhesions, it's like a destructive type of machine in a way. It breaks them down and helps the body to disperse them. So it assists the body doing its own natural processes, really. It's not a miracle cure, it's just an assist. It helps to improve things. I don't know, it's difficult to say. There's lots of trends. There's a lot of this symphysis pubis syndrome type injury around at the moment. There's been a lot of anterior cruciate ligament reconstructions done. I think knees and ankles are going to be the things that suffer the most stress because football, the mechanics of it, how it is. I mean, we're not designed to play football, and to put the body through all the different stresses plus contact and everything, you're going to put strain on ligaments of ankles and knees. So I say knees, like knee ligaments and ankle ligaments are the most common injury.
The public too easily forget about the dramatic injuries that we had early on. I mean, Alex Watson out for most of the season. O'Neill Donaldson, our hope for star signing, who really has only just started to come into it now. And people do forget that, and they do forget that these people, when they're injured, they've got to be paid every single week.
Jack, this is your last one. All right, everything you got, honestly, everything. Let's go. Everything.
Everything, mate. Everything you got. This is your last one. I promise you, this is your last one. Promise you. Come on, now. Come on, now. Quick feet with me. Quick feet. Little feet on your toes. Little feet on your toes. On your toes back in. That's it. Just little ones on your toes. On your toes. All the way back in. Everything you got. Everything you got. Come in. Everything you got. All the way in. Everything you got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, 10. Give me a full lap. Full lap round the pitch. Full lap round the pitch, and then you're done. Full lap round. Go on, Shaq. As quick as you can. You've got a minute to do it, Shaq. I'm timing you. You've got 1 minute to get back to where you started. Come on, everything you got. Everything you got. Arms and legs. Come on, pump away. Come on, Shaq, all the way into me. Come on, Shaq, you're done when you touch me. Shaq, you're done when you touch me. Keep going. Keep going. Come on, come on, come on, when you touch me. Come on, come on, come on. Come on now! Al, you got 15 seconds. 15. Al. Listen to me. You finish when you touch me. Al, you finish when you touch me. You finish when you touch me. You finish when you touch me.
The other thing you have to take into account with injuries is the type of player. I mean, Brian would never come off unless he's really badly injured. So I mean, for him to actually say on Saturday he was struggling, you know, sort of made me realise that it was slightly worse than just an ordinary dead leg. Question mark dead leg, a haematoma to the thigh. So you have to take into account when you go on to players their actual pain thresholds and the type of person they are. And for him to say that he was struggling made me think, well, you know, we've got to get the sub warmed up. Biggest, I mean, with dead legs, I mean, you bruise the muscle. It's, well, I say dead leg, that's the term they use in football, but like a bruising in the muscle. If you this part of, like if you get one there, usually you hear of players saying after a couple of days they can run it off. But when you get it lower down, where it's close to the bone, close to the thigh bone, there's possibility of damage to the actual covering of the bone. So that's something which we've got to be, you know, aware of and make sure that he doesn't aggravate it. So he's going to have to be carefully monitored over the next 2 or 3 days. Just been swimming, haven't you?
Yeah.
Which made it easier, or not a lot?
No, it did. It didn't.
In the water it was
It
easier.
feels obviously better in the water because you've got resistance, but
then when you come out, it's
not bad. It's just not right.
No.
Does that make sense?
No, it does, yeah. Because the trouble with with bruising, when you get congealed blood, the longer it gets left, the blood sort of goes like super glue, and it gums everything up. So it needs to be worked on, but at the same time not overworked, but you're going to aggravate it. So it's just getting a fine balance.
I've just come back from a double hernia, and the only little bad injury I've had is I had a bit of ligament damage in my right knee about 5 years ago, but once I got operated on, I wasn't bad actually. I was back within a month. Not really being bad with injuries, touch wood really, apart from last year.
Bad year for everyone last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably this club. So what happens if you have a season like last season and just every time they play someone gets injured or carried off?
We won't. We won't have a season like last season. That was positive enough for you, was it?
It's a race by number 14. Give them a warm welcome.